Hello and welcome to another Spicy Toast Gaming video. Today we're taking a look at the weekly adventures. So let's see here, we have a 3.5, a 2.5, and a 1-star adventure. For the 1-star adventure, game start, the foe summons a Targon's Peak. All players draw one. So that Targon's Peak, it is a landmark where each round at round start, it reduces the cost of a card in each player's hand to 1. Because of that, I would probably recommend trying to run some of the more expensive champions, such as Darius or Ornn would probably be decent picks. Any cards or any decks that have a lot of very strong but expensive cards would be great for this. Especially, yeah, Darius and Ornn would work out pretty well with Targon's Peak. Lets you end the game a lot earlier. For the 2.5, we have Mortal Marks. When any player summons a unit, set its health to 1, and then Cut Purse Bandits. When the player loses 5 gold, for each damage the foe deals to their Nexus. Interesting, we haven't really seen that before. I think we've seen Mortal Marks before. I think who would be best for this would probably be Misfortune. For one, she's able to do a large amount of damage to a lot of units, and that damage by default is 1, and so even though she does a low amount of damage, it doesn't matter when everyone's units is at 1 health. Also, Misfortune is able to build out her entire board. This would be pretty good for that. Also, Gwen would probably be fine. She can have a lot of units that are fine with dying, or units like the Undying where they come back every single round. For the best case scenario, I'd probably go with Misfortune. I think she'd be able to handle this best. Having a large board, so you always have blockers, so you don't lose health here or lose gold. But then also, you don't really care if your units die because you can always summon more very quickly, and you can easily take out all the enemy units as well. I think Misfortune's kind of built for this one personally. Another champion that would probably do quite well would be Yuumi. So your units would start out at 1 health, but generally you start with 2 Poros that already have 1 health, and then Yuumi, with your Fated, you're buffing up your units. Potentially Yuumi would be able to take special advantage of this where your units already start at 1, but then you scale them up very quickly. So she's another champion that potentially could do very well with this power. On to the 3.5, we have Round Start, Frostbite the player's strongest unit, Undying Rage, each round the first time the foe's units would die, grant them Tough, Overwhelm, and Fearsome, and then the Vicious Enemy. This will actually be a pain. So it has the Triggering power, which is one of the most difficult powers, and then Ash's power, which is one of the just most annoying to deal with. It's not necessarily that difficult, it just delays the game by a good amount. So you're going to need a deck or a champion where you're not just focused on one unit. So you probably want to avoid champions like Jax or Diana, where you normally are just winning with your champion. Well, that being said, Diana would probably be fine, actually Jax or Diana, since they both have Gale Force, so they're going to be recalled. So they're never going to have this effect hit them, because they're going to be in your hand when this goes off. So actually, now that I think about it, Jax or Diana would probably be perfectly fine. But any champions where you're really working on scaling up a single unit, with this, the biggest thing you need to do is just change your strategy. Whoever you're playing, try to build out your board, have it go wide, so that you can not worry about one of your units getting frostbitten. Either that, or actually end up using a champion like Jax or Diana or Teemo, or just in general a Gale Force champion that is going to be able to do enough damage to just go through the enemy threat and still damage and kill the Nexus very early. With this game mode, it's going to try to make your games go longer, and the enemy is just going to get more and more powerful, because this is going to be a real pain to deal with. So you probably want to do some early game champions where you can try to end as fast as possible. If you don't want to go for the playstyle of ending early though, a control deck would also be pretty good to deal with their Undying Rage with all of their units. So you know that you're not going to be able to necessarily kill their units, so just being able to control them either by frostbiting or stunning. So going with Ash or Annie, Leona, even Gnar, any of those champions that have a good amount of control would also be decent for dealing with the enemy threat while you build out your board and get ready to take them down. So that is the weeklies. It actually seems pretty interesting. I'll probably be playing and potentially recording some matches with these. I didn't bother last week because it just seemed kind of too boring, but this should be pretty good. Definitely comment down below what you think of these weeklies and what champions you plan on playing. So if you're a viewer and you're not sure what champions to play, then you can also look at the comments of what everyone else is playing and potentially get a good grasp on what's going to be good this week. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.